Hi guys, so is this Halong Bay Luxury Cruise in Vietnam worth the money?
We're Ty and Soph. We quit our jobs to travel the world and we're currently travelling through Southeast Asia.
We paid $253.51 for a 2 days, 1 night luxury cruise in Halong Bay. There definitely were some pros to this trip, some of which were the highlight of our Vietnam trip so far.
There were some cons too, which we'll talk about throughout the video. So let's get straight to it. We went with a tour company called Luxury. They picked us up from our hostel at 8 AM in Hanoi and took us all the way to the harbour in Halong Bay. This is where all the luxury cruisers depart. We waited around 1 hour before we were eventually escorted onto a smaller boat and taken to our luxury cruise ship, which was docked somewhere in the bay.
This is where we knew we were in for a billionaire experience, when they whacked out the umbrellas over our heads and it wasn't even raining.
So first things first, when we got onto the boat, we were welcomed with a free iced tea and we were sat down in the dining room where the host gave us a little welcome tour.
When we came into this room, we were split up into 2 groups. One side was the Vietnamese locals and the other side was us foreigners. Our tour guide spoke to the Vietnamese people first and then he spoke to us after. It seemed like he had quite a lot to say to the locals because he was speaking to them for about 15 minutes and then we only got like a 2-minute welcome chat, but don't worry, we'll get to that later. Then it was time to go check out our rooms.
Now, the big reveal of our cabin.
When we got there, we'd seen our bags had been taken from the boat to our rooms, which for us as backpackers, we were absolutely buzzing about. We didn't have to bring them in for ourselves. What an absolute result. Guys, how beautiful is this room? Look at that view, absolutely unreal.
We could literally lie in bed and gaze at the amazing landscape of Halong Bay. It was just so serene. And I couldn't wait to get in that bath later.
Yeah.
We're just like videoing and then we just see a little lady in the middle of Halong Bay. She's trying to sell us something. She's not waving.
Got a set menu.
They bring it all out one by one. We've got a seafood, soup and
It says on here it's either a sweet potato or fried pork.
This was our first meal on the boat and we were definitely impressed. It was a 10-course lunch. They were bringing out plates one by one. I wasn't even finished with my plate and I'll get a new one in front of me. We felt like some kind of royalty.
There was so much tasty food. There was seafood soup, steamed shrimp, stir-fried squid, steamed fish, beef with wine sauce, oysters. It was all just absolutely delicious.
The only problem we did have, they didn't really provide any drinks. We had 1 bottle of water in our cabin and the welcome drink, but other than that, we had to pay for every other drink. They didn't even give us water.
So this boat was actually fully booked, but as you can see, there was no one around. The top deck was completely empty. There were no crowds. It even felt like we had the whole boat to ourselves. We even had the jacuzzi to ourselves. It was just amazing. It felt like complete luxury.
The camera makes it look like I'm picking my nose here, but I actually wasn't. I was just sorting out my nose piercing, so leave me alone.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Cruise manager speaking. I would like to inform to all of you that time for enjoy the excursion is ready. Kayaking and swimming on the sea.
Yes, sir. This one feels really rocky. This kayak feels really like yeah, look how much it rocks. So, say hey. No. So I'm just in the back, chilling, and Soph is pulling me along, living that luxury VIP life. No, I'm videoing. I'm just telling the world how you're pulling me along and I'm living a luxury lifestyle in Halong Bay, like a king. So yeah, thank you.
We couldn't believe we were just kayaking in this beautiful bay. It was like something from a movie. And it actually was from a movie. King Kong in 2017 was actually filmed here. How amazing is that?
Guys, if you're thinking about coming here, this is your sign.
Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. He always been faking me out. Can't make you happier now. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. He always been faking me out. Can't make you happier now. Usually I put something on TV, so we never
Lean on me, I'll die. I've got this phobia where I don't like not knowing what's under me in the water. It's only a little bit, but basically if I see like an anchor at the bottom of the sea and it's got seaweed on it, it really cringes me out. I don't know if any of you have this same issue, but since I come travelling, I have got way better with it. So look at us, being all brave, not knowing what's under us in the sea, but in this case, I was actually right to be worried, wasn't I? Wait until you see it later.
He always been faking me out. Can't make you happy.
After being in the sea, we went up on the deck and we relaxed with a nice cold drink. We actually brought our own vodka on the boat and we just bought some lemonades to go with it. We did this because at the end of the day we are backpackers and we need to save some money somewhere.
You know it hurts me too. You look so broken when you cry. One more and then I say goodbye. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. He always been faking me out. Can't make you happier now. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle.
So we were just up on the sun deck, chilling for sunset, a couple drinks, in the jacuzzi. This must be what it feels like to be a billionaire. We basically had the place to ourselves. There wasn't too many people around. There was one other couple in the hot tub with us. But for the price that we paid, you really cannot go wrong. Now was the time on the itinerary where there was meant to be a sunset party. But it wasn't really a party. They put some fruit out for us. There was about 5 or 6 people on the deck. There was no music or anything like that.
It was more of an afternoon snack than a party. So after watching that gorgeous sunset from the jacuzzi, we headed back to our cabin and got showered and ready and went for dinner.
He always been faking me out. Can't make you happier now.
Before we carry on with the rest of the video, let us guys know if you have any questions so far about the Halong Bay Luxury Cruises or Halong Bay itself. Let us know in the comments below. If you guys are planning a trip to Halong Bay and you're looking at booking a luxury cruise, let us know which company you're going for in the comments.
So we're getting our dinner now. That's included.
Really good.
Buffet. Very good.
This time, instead of a set meal, it was a buffet, so we went up to help ourselves to some delicious food.
Yeah. What is that, fish?
Chicken.
Oh,
Crab.
yeah, crab.
Oh.
And that spring roll. Yummy.
It looks good, doesn't it?
That's my favourite thing in these things. I'm happy.
These, some sort of fish cake things are really, really good. Let's eat.
So do you remember earlier when I said we weren't sure what was underneath us? This was underneath us. We spoke to the tour guide and he told us that Halong Bay is absolutely covered with 2 types of jellyfish. You've got the big jellyfish, which is this one here. Then this jellyfish with the long tentacles is dangerous. But of course, we didn't know this at the time, so we were just swimming around in jellyfish infested waters.
By the way, this jellyfish looks smaller on the camera than it did in real life. It was huge. The next activity on the itinerary was squid fishing. The manager told us that we were actually catching the squid for breakfast in the morning, although we can't actually remember eating any squid in the morning, so not sure if he was joking around or not. But we tried for about an hour to catch a squid and no luck at all. It was quite difficult.
So about the same time we had the squid fishing going on, there was meant to be evening entertainment.
It was karaoke. Now if you've been to Vietnam, you know that they absolutely love karaoke.
Yeah.
You walk down the street, you'll hear someone singing karaoke everywhere you go.
Even when we was out on the deck, we could hear all the other boats just singing karaoke so loud. We love karaoke as well, but they were singing in Vietnamese and we don't know any Vietnamese. this, and there was no other entertainment on the boat. We had an early morning plan because we were going to get up for sunrise anyway, so we just went to bed.
Look at this. This is a really fancy bar.
We're on the Halong Bay in a boat.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. The sunrise.
Definitely worth the cruise if anyone's coming to Maya Bay.
Yeah, I know I'm not in Maya Bay at this point. It was really early. What time was it?
About 6:30.
Now I know for a Vietnamese person, that's not that early. They are up very, very early. But for us, it was extremely early. We were just up waiting for sunrise in the bar of Love and Life, but I wasn't quite with it. Also, I sound drunk in this, but I swear I'm not.
Just tired.
Make sure you hit this cruiser up. It's only £100 each as well. You got to buy your own drinks on board, but other than that, £100 each, which is really good.
5-star service.
And also, for anyone that gets seasickness, don't worry, the boat has not moved once. It's literally like on land.
Look how
It's so still.
calm the water is.
Amazing. What an experience.
Let's be honest, guys, it doesn't get much better than this. Imagine waking up to that view from your bath every single morning. We were really living that millionaire lifestyle.
So after our bath, we went and got ready and had breakfast at about 7 AM, and then we went on a tour on a smaller boat around the floating village, and it wasn't really what we expected, to be honest.
So the tour guide was speaking to the Vietnamese people first, and there was probably only about 6 people who spoke English on this little boat. And we were just waiting because we weren't really too sure what was going on. We weren't really too sure what we were actually looking at. And this went on for about 25 minutes. Then the boats turned around and started going back towards the cruise ship. So we were all a bit confused, and the guy turned around and said, "Oh, can you just give me 5 minutes because I've just been speaking. Like I can't speak at the moment."
So we were kind of still waiting for him to talk to us, but then he started talking again in Vietnamese, and we were kind of like, well, you just said that you were out of breath to talk to us, so why are you talking to them again?
Yeah. We've just been sitting on this boat for over half an hour now.
So it's supposed to be a tour. He was supposed to be our tour guide, explaining what was going on, explaining about the village that we were going around on the boat, but he only spoke to the Vietnamese people, so we didn't know what was going on.
So then we actually got back to the bigger boat, and he said, "Oh, I can explain to you now." And we was all just kind of standing there like, don't worry about it. Like, we're back here now. We're not really going to understand what it is you're talking about because we're not seeing it. So we found this a lot where the manager was speaking to the Vietnamese people a lot more, and we wasn't getting as much information.
So we got back off the smaller boat and onto the cruise again, and we went for lunch, and it was only at 9:30 AM by the way. The second day kind of felt like it was a little bit rushed, I guess. We were actually heading back to the harbour earlier than we thought, so I don't know if they packed it all in a little bit tight on the second day. Time for our second lunch. Leaving today. Another set menu.
Very sad about leaving, don't want to leave here. Lovely.
We headed up on the deck for a final gaze at the beautiful surroundings before we headed back to the harbour at about 11 AM.
So we're going to summarise the experience.
We're going to list the pros and the cons. Halong Bay is an absolutely amazing place. It's magical, beautiful, it's like something out of a movie.
It's probably up there with the top things we've done in our whole time travelling Southeast Asia.
The food was delicious. There were so many courses, like 10 courses for your lunch.
The cabins, they were gorgeous. You could literally lay in your bed and look at that beautiful landscape. The best bed I've ever slept in my life. The service was top notch. You didn't even have to think for yourself for 24 hours. They literally called you over the tannoy when it was time to eat lunch, eat dinner, go kayaking. It was just really nice not to have to worry about anything for 24 hours.
The boat itself was luxurious. It was all nice and clean. It was modern. The jacuzzi, like all of it was just 5-star.
The activities, there was kayaking and the squid fishing. I thoroughly enjoyed the kayaking. We had a great time out on the water.
It could have been better though, which is where we'll move on to the cons. Although the activities were fun, we feel like there weren't enough activities while we were on the boat compared to some other boats that we've read about and watched YouTube videos about.
And then there was the whole situation with the manager, but we've already spoken about that. If you want to watch that, this is a timestamp.
It's advertised as 2 days and 1 night, but really it's only 1 day and 1 night. We didn't actually get onto the cruise until 1 p.m, and then the next day we got back to the harbour about 11:30 a.m. It was more like just less than 24 hours. Maybe if it was actually 2 days and 1 night, they could squeeze more activities into it.
And of course, we mentioned about the sunset party. Timestamp will be here if you want to see that. So we also had a situation on the night where we were doing squid fishing, and there was a couple there who didn't have transport back to their hotel. They spoke to the manager and he arranged them private transfer. So the next day when it was time to leave and everyone was getting on the bus back to Hanoi, the couple that needed the private transfer got on our bus and had our seats. So we didn't have a transfer back to Hanoi even though we'd paid for it. So we were left stranded. But at the time we were just like, okay, cool, I guess they'll get us new transport. Then by this point, it was a good hour and a half went by, we were still waiting for transport. So I was asking what's going on, and because it was so busy in the office, she wasn't really getting back to me, kind of telling me just wait, just wait, just wait. And we were just like, everyone's now gone who we came with, and we're just left by ourselves.
So we eventually got picked up after about an hour and a half of waiting in this really luxurious minibus with massage chairs. He drove us around the block and dropped us back exactly where he picked us up, where the harbour is.
And then we had to wait another 45 minutes for another bus, so we did eventually get taken back to Hanoi. So altogether it was like 2 hours before we got in a bus on the way back.
So, overall, what do we think?
Well, I absolutely loved it and I would do it again, but next time I think I'd try a different company, just because I've been with this company and it was so luxurious, I loved it. But I would love to see what other companies bring.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I recommend it, but I would also like to try a different company maybe. Maybe one with slightly different itinerary, where it includes more activities such as going in the caves, maybe going to the islands and the beaches and that kind of thing.
Definitely. So if your question is it worth it? It is 100% worth your money, because you are never going to get that level of luxury and service anywhere else in the world for that price. In our next video, we're going to be doing the Ha Giang Loop, which was 3 days on the motorbike. We put it #1 on the top things to do in Vietnam. If you haven't seen our video, be sure to check it out. It'll be on the screen now.
The Ha Giang Loop was one of the most amazing things I've ever done, and it is definitely what made me fall in love with Vietnam. Make sure you subscribe to us if you want to see that video.
And hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. It lets us know you're enjoying our content. See you next time. Bye. Is this place haunted then? Well, it definitely had a very eerie feeling about it. We didn't know about the depths of the park's history at the time of filming, but our bikes kept breaking down, which was a bit strange. And then, when we were editing this video, we noticed something very odd. Watch this. The video. Ready? You got this.
We didn't actually...
Come on.
You're making me laugh.